Okay. Since a whole bunch of people have shown up and are on time, I'll be respectful and mindful of your time and start now. Thank you very much for joining Office Protect, keeping up with Office Protect. Basically, this is the, I believe, second edition of our user group. So for people that use, mostly targeted for people that already use Office Protect. If you don't, you'll still learn a bunch of things about Office Protect. Welcome everybody for being here. It's nice to see such a nice turnout. Doing it so close to the summer and the vacation, Canada Day, 4th of July, all that. We weren't sure anybody would show up, but you guys are here in quite the impressive number, so that's really great. Today, joining me, we'll have Camille Loec, who's the product manager for Office Protect, product owner, sorry, for Office Protect, and we have Deanna Sparling, who's the business development manager and your best friend in the sales department for anything Office Protect. I am Guillaume Boisvert. You may have seen it from such educational videos like Performance Cloud and Office Protect and all those. I'm the co-creator of Office Protect and general manager. Before we go any further, a few housekeeping items. We are recording this webinar. It will be available in 24 to 48 hours. Everybody that has registered for it will receive a link. So if you have an emergency or something, we do understand you'll still have access to the content. If you have any questions, there is a question section or Q&A section in the software itself. Please make use of it. Anything that you want to have answered, we will either answer directly during this presentation or take your question and come back to you directly, depending on the type of questions, whether it applies to a general audience or if it's very specific to your situation. It doesn't have to be specifically about the content that we'll see today. Don't hesitate to ask us anything. If you have any experience with Office Protect, you know that we're very transparent with what we do and how we do it. Quick word on the agenda for today. Today will be very product-centric user meeting. We will show you what's new, we will show you what's coming, and we will ask your opinion on a couple of very highly demanded features, like stuff that you guys have been asking for in numbers. And we'll give you a chance to sort of influence both the content and the prioritization of those features. We'll see about questions throughout the presentation, but we'll definitely reserve a little bit of time at the end to make sure that we address any questions. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic, I guess, to Camille, who's going to tell us a bit more about the new features that we have in Office Protect and give us a bit of a demo.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So let's start with everything that happened in the last month on Office Protect. I'm going to start with the user-requested improvements. So we've improved the new device and IP detection to reduce false positive events to be triggered. So from now on, we are looking at the browser version and the OS version in the user agent. So we make sure we don't alert if these versions get upgraded. So it means, for example, if Office Protect knows that a user in your organization is using Chrome, if he upgrades his version of Chrome, then we won't alert you on a new device and IP. However, if it gets downgraded, we'll take that as a new device and you will be alerted if it's a new IP. We've also added a link in the security events email redirecting you to the Office Protect portal. As of now, so you only had the ignore event link in the security event. So next to it, you now have the Office Protect link. And last but not least, the advanced reports. So you can now copy values from the table directly in the advanced report section. It was not possible before, so you had to download the file and copy the values from the file. So now you can do it from the table directly. And for your information, the advanced reporting feature is now available to everyone. So you're not in a preview mode anymore, and it's not an additional cost for Office Protect.
Yeah, maybe a quick word on advanced reporting. We launched it quite a bit ago, like 18 months. And when we did, we put it as a preview so people could sort of figure it out and use it and find the value in it. And we sort of shot ourselves in the foot because a number of you found a number of useful things, and we kind of feel bad taking it away and making it a premium feature. So with the way that the market is and everything, we felt it was a good thing for our user, and it provided a lot of value to just make it part of the core offer. If anybody has been holding back from trying it or implementing it into their operation because they were afraid like it would be taken away as a premium feature, well, now you can go and you have our sort of guarantee that it will remain part of the base product at the base price. And for the people that don't know, advanced reporting is basically you can schedule reports to draw information from Microsoft 365 in much more detail. So if you want a list of, forwarding rules emailed to you every month to see if there's anything weird going on or things like that. If you want an active account, there's a number of them. There's about 100 that is already in there. So have a look. As always, give us a bunch of suggestions on what you like and would like to see more of, and we'll go from there.
So let's move on to the ConnectWise Connector updates. So as you may already know, we've been working on this connector in the past few weeks. So we are happy to announce that it's now available in the portal directly. It's still in a beta phase, so only available to some of you who made the request through feedback@officeprotect.com. So if you want to test it with us, please let us know, and we'll be happy to grant you the access. And I will show you during the demo how it works and all of the steps you need to go in to set up your connection. And it will be available publicly soon. We are just finalizing some tests and stabilizing it, so to make sure everything is okay and you get all of your security events through the ConnectWise portal.
And to be clear, to manage the expectation, like, is it what we would call feature complete? Like, I mean, yes, it's in beta because, as you said, we're still testing and want to make sure it's, rock solid and doesn't have any flaws. But all the features are there, right? It's functioning.
Yeah. We got a few suggestions during the beta phase already, so we are working on that too. But all of the MVP features are all in the portal. And last of all, we've added 3 new Defender settings in the portal to help you protect your organization against phishing attacks and malware attacks. So you already know that, but all of the links, all of the documents that are shared within your organization can be attack vectors to spread some malwares across your organization or to gain access to sensitive data. So to help reduce the risk of this kind of attacks, we implemented 3 new settings based on Defender settings in Microsoft, and I will show you all of that during the demo too. So regarding safe links, if you enable it, whenever a user will click on a link that is shared through emails, through Teams, through the Office 365 apps, it will be redirected to a screen showing that the link is being verified, and the access will be completely blocked if the URL is identified as malicious. Regarding safe attachments, so whenever a message, an email is sent to your organization and contains an attachment, the message will be delivered to the recipient. However, the attachment will be retained until it's being analyzed. And if it's found safe, it will be reattached to the email. And if it's not safe, it will be blocked and the message will be quarantined and only accessible by admin users through the Microsoft quarantine section. And last one, the Save Documents one. Whenever a user tries to open a document through SharePoint or OneDrive, the document will be real-time scanned by the backend of Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. So your users don't have to get the Defender for Endpoint installed on their device, but the documents will be scanned, and also the access will be blocked if the document is identified as malicious.
Just a quick word on this. For the people that have been around and, for example, that came to the previous call about Office Protect, we mentioned these as premium features, meaning they're not part of every Microsoft 365 license. So that's part of one of the things that we're working on in Office Protect is to add more of those extra features that are provided by the premium SKUs. And when I say premium, I don't mean specifically business premium. I mean above, like stuff like business standard or business basic. At first, we focused very much on those basic security features, but now we're trying to add a little bit more coverage so people can take advantage of more of the stuff that is included in, for example, a Microsoft 365 Business Premium. And just to mention it, safe links, safe attachment are part of Defender for Office 365, which is part of Business Premium. And then Safe Document is part of EMS E3?
E5.
E5. I knew I would mess it up. Which is part of Microsoft 365 E5.
Yeah.
So if you don't have those SKUs, then the setting won't be available for you in Office Protect. It will be disabled. Oh, it's coming probably in the demo.
Yeah, it's in the demo.
Expect more stuff like that to be coming also to Office Protect as we expand coverage of the Microsoft 365 environment.
So let me switch to a live demo on Office Protect. So as Guillaume said, if you don't have the required licenses to apply the setting, you will have a message here. The setting is disabled, and you have the required license displayed here. Please make sure that the users, your users in your organizations are licensed accordingly if you want to enable the setting, if you want them to be protected, and you want your organization to stay compliant with Microsoft, you need the licenses to be provided to your users. So if I switch to another tenant, these are test tenants. If I switch to another one that has the right licenses, you can see here that safe attachments, safe documents, and safe links can be enabled here. So you have three different options here: the do not modify, the enabled, and the disabled one. If you have any custom policies that are already applied on your tenant, we suggest that you choose the do not modify option. So Office Protect won't touch the policy and we won't disable anything. However, the setting won't be monitored either by Office Protect. So this is the case here. I have a custom policy applied on safe attachments. So the current is do not modify, and I chose to the do not modify option. If you enable the setting, we will deactivate all of the custom policies that are applied on your tenant. So if I choose to enable here the safe attachment, it will disable my custom policy and enable the Office Protect one. If you choose to disable the setting in here, Office Protect will disable all of your custom policies. These policies will not be deleted, they will be disabled, so you will still be able to access them in the Microsoft portal, but they won't be active anymore. So let me enable all of the settings on my tenant. I click Save and apply changes. So you now have the enable safe attachments, safe documents, and safe links that are displayed here. And let me show you where to find them in Microsoft Portal. So you need to go to the 365 Admin Center. In the Security Admin Center here, and in the side navigation under email and collaboration, you can find the policies and rules. So if I go into that section, I then need to go in the threat policies.
This is a nice demonstration of how simple the Microsoft different control panels are.
Absolutely.
And fast.
I don't know what's taking so long.
As long as it's on the Microsoft end, it's not so bad for our demo.
Well, usually it's not that long. Maybe it's the demo effect.
It's definitely the Murphy's Law in effect.
Okay, so good news is all of my policies have been applied in the meantime. let me try again.
Camille, can you zoom in your screen, please?
Sorry?
Can you zoom in?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Thank you.
Is it better? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the thread policies, you have the section safe attachments here and the section safe links here. So if we go in the safe links one, let me show you what it does look like. So you now have a new policy here, the safe links rule Office Protect. And if I go in the details, I can see that it's been activated for emails, for Teams, and for Office 365 apps. So if you want to do anything custom, you can change it here, but please choose the do not modify option in Office Protect so we don't change it again when you will apply your setting again. If I go back and choose safe attachments, so on safe attachment, I had a custom policy applied, was here. So we can see that it's been disabled by Office Protect, and I have a new one created by Office Protect, which is activated also. And here the option that we've chosen is the dynamic delivery. So it means that the message will be delivered, however, the attachment will be retained and will be reattached only if it's found safe. And regarding safe documents, you can access here. So still in the safe attachment section, you go in global settings and you have the safe documents displayed here. So it's been activated, and in Office Protect, we chose not to allow the people to click through the protected view if the document is identified as malicious. So again, if you want to enable this option, then please choose the do not modify option in Office Protect so we don't change our configuration. So that's it for the Defender settings demo. I didn't say that at the beginning of the demo, but if you have any questions, please feel free to write them down in the chat, and I will answer everything after the demo. So we strongly recommend you to enable these settings if your users are licensed accordingly and you have the right licenses. It's very useful settings against phishing attacks and malware attacks.
Yeah, there's very little downside to those settings. Like there's not a lot. It's hard to find a good reason not to. I would say if I'm really trying hard to find a problem, I would say if you're working with files that are problematic, meaning like if you're security research or something like that, these settings will get in the way. But I would say for most business, which I think would include like 95, 99% of your clients, these are almost no-brainers. We at Sherweb have them activated, and I've never had a problem with something getting classified as the wrong thing or blocked or whatever. Like it works great.
So let me switch to the ConnectWise demo. In here, you have a new section, integrations, in which you have, for now, you only have the ConnectWise connector, but soon the Autotask connector also. So still in beta phase, so you'll have a banner saying that it's in beta phase and you need to send us an email if you want to get access to it. So please feel free to contact us if you want to get access. And let me show you what it does look like. So if I click Start Integration, at first I need to enter some information. I need to enter my ConnectWise site, my company, my ConnectWise company ID. It's the company ID that you use to log in the ConnectWise managed platform. And I need to enter a public key and a private key. What's very important to note here is that we need some requirements to start the integration correctly. And if you want Office Protect to work properly, then you need to grant the API key some dedicated permissions. And I will show you how to do that. We set up a documentation in our knowledge base. So you have all of the information you need here and a guide to set up your connection and all of the requirements. But I will show you what it does look like in the ConnectWise platform. So first of all, you need to create a new, well, we recommend that you create a new security role with the list permissions dedicated to Office Protect so we have access to everything we need, but not more. So you have access to it in the system here and security roles here, and you can create a new security role in the table. And you need to grant some permissions here. So the only permissions we need is in the company maintenance. We need to be able to view all of your companies so we know where to create the tickets. So for you have a tenant, you get a security event on your tenant, we know where to create your tickets in ConnectWise. And second is in service desk. You have service tickets here. So if you want to be able to create some tickets, we need the permissions to do so. So we need the add level, the edit level, and the inquirer level here. Once you've defined your security rule, then you need to create a new API member. Also accessible from system here. In members, you have an API member tab, and you can create a new API member. What's very important here is the default board you can configure here. You do not have to do that, but if you want the tickets to be created in the right board, then we strongly recommend that you set it up here. So the default board will be used to create all of the tickets that will be created by Office Protect. So we'll only use that. And if you don't put anything in here, it will be created on the board, the default board that is set for your whole company in ConnectWise. Then to create an API key, you have a tab here, API key. You click plus, and then you will receive a public key and a private key when you'll save it. So once you have everything, you can go back to Office Protect, and I will show you with some test credentials what it does look like. So I enter my company ID, I enter my public key and my private key. And when you will click on check connection, we'll make sure that all of the information that have been entered here are correct. And we will also make sure all of the permissions we need are granted to the key. So let me show you an example. If I remove the 7 here, my credentials are wrong. And if I click check connection, I get an error message saying that my credentials are not okay. If I put my right credentials here, click check connection, I'm taken to a forum where I need to map the tenants, the active tenants I have in Office Protect with the ConnectWise companies. So you get a list here with all of the ConnectWise companies that are set in ConnectWise. And the first suggestion here is based on the company name. So if your tenant has a similar name to the ConnectWise company, your ConnectWise company, sorry, then it will be displayed at the top of the list so you can select them easily. You can choose to activate or deactivate the flow here for your company. So if you don't want any tickets to be created by Office Protect for your tenants, then either you do not choose any company here or you just deactivate the flow here.
Quick question for the people that are here, for the people that have ConnectWise, either that already set up the connector or that are thinking about it. Like the suggestion thing that Camille showed you actually works pretty well. Like we're pretty impressed with how accurate it is at suggesting the correct company. Would you prefer to have everything filled with our suggestion and have to check it and then fix any that are wrong? Or do you prefer like it is now where we don't assume anything, but we put the suggestion first? So if you have an opinion, if you just want to put it in the QA box, that'd be great.
And last step is in the forum is to enter an email address. And this email address will be used to communicate with you if anything goes wrong with your connection. So if we cannot create any ticket on your organization, either because your credentials are not okay or we're missing some permissions, or the company does not exist in ConnectWise anymore, then we will send you some alerts to this email address. So it's very important to set up an emergency contact here. And if I confirm my setup and I go back to my integration page, I can see that I have a ConnectWise Flow LT and activated. What's important to note here is that the first time that you set up your connection with ConnectWise, we will create some tickets for all of the security events that have been raised on your organizations in the last 48 hours. So now if I go to ConnectWise, this is my board. This is the integration board that I set on my API member here, integration board. So I have all of the tickets that have been created by Office Protect. And if I choose, for example, a sign in from an authorized country here. So the summary is the event type. The company is the company I have selected in my mapping form I just showed you. And in the initial descriptions, you have all of the information you received by email today, and you have the same links. So ignore the event or a redirection link to Office Protect. All of the other informations that are displayed here that are entered in the form have been entered by ConnectWise by default at the ticket creation. So if I go back to Office Protect, I can still delete my integration if I don't want the connector anymore. I can change my credentials if there's anything going wrong, or if I just want to change my API key. And I can still manage my organization mapping here. Again, if anything goes wrong with your connection, you will receive an email, and it will also be displayed here as an LT with an error saying what's going wrong with your connection and the actions you need to perform. So that's it for the ConnectWise demo. Let me know if you have any questions regarding the demo. I don't know, Audrey, if there's any questions already?
Nope, not so far.
Not that are good for this context. One question for people, if you want to put it into the question and answer box as well, if you use ConnectWise, any of the field that we're not setting in the tickets that you would expect us to set, or that you would like to be able to dynamically set, like any of those fields, we talked to our beta testers and we did our best. We're always looking for feedback.
So if there's no question, Guillaume.
So thank you, Camille. Very good demo. It's good that the only thing that didn't work perfectly is Microsoft. I think that's perfect for us. So moving on, let me give you a sense of what's on the roadmap, because we're going to run out of time otherwise. So here are the upcoming next few things. These things are happening. Like, this isn't, we can definitely talk about priority, but these are the short-term items. One of the next things is new SharePoint settings. We've had some feedback on those. Camille, maybe you want to name a couple of the ones that are coming for sure?
Yeah, so we have the block guest from sharing content to avoid guests from sharing content they do not own in your organization. And we have the disable anonymous sharing to control what kind of links can be shared through your organization.
Yeah, that's definitely two things. So it's a topic that's been asked of us a lot, is to help with the sharing of material. Like, we have alerts around it. This is basically bringing the settings in. So if you just want to know about it, then we have alerts, and they're still going to be there, and they still work great. If you want to just prevent it, then we'll give you a bit more control on that with those settings. ConnectWise Connector public release is coming. Like, as you saw, it already works. So there's little things to test and make sure that it's all A++, but that's coming short term. A big one that's coming, that's been requested a lot since we created Office Protect, is a flexible event ignoring feature. Basically, what that means is that right now, when you ignore an event, basically all it does is it takes exactly the event how it is, and if you see it again, it won't alert you again. What we're going to do is you're going to keep that functionality, but we're going to add a lot more flexibility. So if you want exactly the same thing, except not just this user, but all users, or not just this IP address, but all IP addresses, we'll give you the flexibility to create rules that are generally are meant to cover more. So if, let's say, you have a specific application, let's say your backup application creates alerts, and you want to say, well, if it's this application and everything else, I don't care, I want to ignore it for sure, then you can create a rule for that. And then obviously then we got to give you the ability to edit those rules and things like that. So that's definitely coming. And then you saw the ConnectWise connector. Well, there are other RMMs. So we will create, we've already started. We are creating the Autotask connector. Exact same idea as the ConnectWise one, except just to make our life easy, they work completely differently in the back end, thanks to ConnectWise and Autotask, Datto, Kaseya. But that's coming for sure. Shouldn't be super long because we, on our end, all the mechanism to do this are good to go and will be reused. We just have to create the exact connections to the Autotask platform, different fields, different things like that. So we're working on those differences now. I see that was one of the questions in our QA, so happy to say that yes, next one is Autotask. Moving on. So let's get a little bit of your participation, if you don't mind. We have 2 new features that are coming. Just to put a bit of a disclaimer, this is a work in progress. You guys are a very close partner, and everything that we do basically is based on partner feedback. So this isn't so much like a promise that it will be exactly like this. It's more of a, we want your feedback early so we can make sure that it is as useful as it can be. So those 2 things have been requested quite a bit. The first one is remediation. So basically the ability to fix some of the stuff related to events. So for example, the example that's here, you get a sign-in from an authorized country. It says like suspicious@org.com has logged from, I don't know, Afghanistan, and you don't have anybody in Afghanistan. So you want to go ahead and either block access, or for example, revoke sessions is a big one these days where you want to invalidate all the tokens, things like that. But we would allow you to do it directly from Office Protect, and ideally make it one click, meaning like if you want to do everything that you need to do to secure a mailbox, like if you look at Microsoft documentation, it's a bunch of steps. The idea would be one click in Office Protect to get it done. Other things like removing forwarding rules, like deleting them, things like that, like give you basically you would get the detail of the event, and then the remediation would be related to that event. There would be a logic to it. Also, we would provide information about like why are we suggesting these events? What do you need to double check before you take actions and things like that. So at a 1,000-foot view, that's that feature. The other one is, no, I can switch, fine, is enrich entities. We're still trying to find a good marketing name for that one, but for now it will do. One thing that has been asked quite a bit is to give more information directly in Office Protect about the different, what I would call entities, so things that we're talking about. A good example that has been requested quite a bit is IP addresses. So you get a sign-in from an authorized country, it has an IP address, and you don't know like where to go from there. So for example, one of our most common false positives, I'm sure everybody here knows, is Microsoft IPs. So if you could at least see directly in Office Protect that it is a Microsoft IP that is in this or that like specific region, or attaching other Office Protect events that have come before it to that same IP. And the idea would be to attach additional information to everything that's kind of an entity. So examples are, for example, users, mailboxes, IP addresses, sites from SharePoint, domains, things like that. And we would give you access to more information about those things to really make the decision process more streamlined. The idea is for you, ideally, not to have to do external research as much when you get an Office Protect event, and be able to take quicker decisions that require less effort, and give you more confidence in those decisions. So if you have questions, do ask questions. I went pretty quickly on those 2 features, but One-click remediation, enriched entities. We have a couple of poll questions about that. So, asking for participation. Let's go to the first one. If I click this, yeah, here you go. So the first question is a very basic question. Would you use Office Protect to perform remediation like suspending user, removing foreign tool? The idea here is we definitely don't want to produce features that are not being used. It will definitely help us to decide where to focus depending on where you guys vote. I'll give you a minute, let's say, to answer. There is no wrong answer. I understand this is an Office Protect user group, so if you say you're not going to use it, don't feel like you're going to disappoint us. We just want to know how you guys work and how you would like to work. Again, no wrong answers or anything. I see that most people voted. I'll give it a few more seconds. Okay. Closing the voting, last second. For the people that are still looking to find that webinar window on their computer, did you find it? Yes? No? All right. Let's go to the next question. So if we're talking about the remediation feature, which of those, and we had a longer list, but the GoToWebinar doesn't allow us to put more suggestions. So most people answered yes to the previous question. Pick some of the stuff you would like to do here. I'm expecting some of you will have other as an answer. If you want, again, we don't want to give you too much work. This isn't homework, this meeting. But if you want to put some suggestions of the thing that you would like to see us create buttons for, like, oh, I have to do this or I have to do that. When I go to the Microsoft portal and they're making it, pardon my French, pain in the ass, then do put in a suggestion. I would love to create more. Like we thought a number of them and we think we've covered all bases, but never as sure as when we talk to our partners and give them a chance to enlighten us on what we've missed. Okay, I see most people have voted. If you have suggestions, like type them in the QA section. You can do that until we're done, or you can even send us an email. Don't hesitate, no worries. So I'm gonna close this one. Go to the next one. We only have 4, by the way. This isn't gonna be half an hour of questions. Okay, we talked about additional information for entities. Which of those, and you can select multiples. And again, if you have suggestions, use the QA box as much as possible. What would you like, which entity would you like to have more information? Users, mailbox, IP, different files. Again, SharePoint sites, domains, things like that are all very valid answers. Take your time, select what you'd like. One of the, just to fill the 30 seconds I'm going to give you, but one of the big design philosophy of Office Protect is not to equate more information to better service. So giving you all the information is often the solution for security products. Like they just dump everything that they can dump and they're like, well, this is the best possible product because it gives you all the information. We've always tried to make it as efficient as possible and focus on information that is useful to as many people as possible, so that this kind of goes into the same direction. And then one last question, I promise, and it's one of the important ones. Of those two, which one would you like us to do first? And honestly, we have a big team working on Office Protect. We very well could be working on both at the same time. But it's pretty likely that we won't finish both at the same time, and prioritization is an important part of how we work. So very curious to see, of the people that are here, obviously, which one would you prefer to see come online first? And again, this is a cooperative process. At the end of the day, some of the enriched information come out first, and then some remediation, and then some. It's not black or white. It's not like one thing or the other completely. But at some point, we always have to prioritize things within the team. And talking to you guys and getting those kind of answers really helps drive that process. Okay, give you 3 more seconds, 2, 1. All right. So thank you very much for your participation. All that information that you've given us will be very cherished and used in our product work, basically, with Office Protect. So now, pass it over to Deanna. Quick reminder of a few of our sales and marketing aspects of Office Protect. Because the product, we're very focused on it, but we're there to help as well on that front.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks, Guillaume and Kemi, and hello, everyone. If we haven't met yet, I'm Deanna, Business Development Manager here at Sherweb for Office Protect. And as a Business Development Manager, I'm not just here for Sherweb, I'm here for you. So, please leverage me. I'm part of the security team, so I also have a team of subject matter experts across the security platform. So please make sure you're leveraging us either directly through your account manager or direct to me. You can see here, I've got my email address. I'm more than happy to connect directly. And whether that's a cadence call or even as an extension of your sales team. So more than happy to meet with your sales team and help them better position Office Protect with your client and bring that client value. In terms of resources, we also have a white labeled PowerPoint deck that's client directed. Again, it talks about Office Protect, but also talks about security. So if you are interested in that deck, we don't have it yet in the toolbox. So just message me on email and let me know that you want it, and I'll send it right over. And just before I let you go, I just wanted to remind, I've talked to a lot of partners, and especially partners who have been with Office Protect for quite some time. I wanted to remind you of the benefits of leveraging that 30-day trial that comes with net new clients on Microsoft 365. So if you're not taking advantage of it, I highly recommend that you do. The reports that come out of that can be very powerful and really start some great conversations with your clients on their security posture and maybe any potential vulnerabilities that you might not have known existed. It just takes a few minutes. Even if you wanted to just deploy some of our best practice templates, you're probably talking about 10 or 15 minutes to go through it. And if at the end of the 30 days you don't deploy it, those security settings that you've applied remain. So while you don't have access to the platform or the alerts, those settings are still going to be there, adding that extra layer for you and for your client. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that. It's something that maybe over the last few months or even a few years, you've come to kind of forget about. Please make sure that you are leveraging that. That's actually it for me.
Thanks, Deanna. So we're at the end of the presentation, actually right on time with what was scheduled. So I'm pretty impressed. I've already answered most of the questions that were sent. I sent them directly in the software. One thing I'd like to mention from a question that was asked, the difference between Office Protect and Office Protect add-on in Cumulus, which sounds very trivial, but I'll mention it here for the people that are here. So they're both the same product. The difference is that you can only get Microsoft Office Protect add-on if you have Microsoft 365 with Sherweb. If you don't, you have to get the standalone product, and the standalone product has a $10 minimum. $10 gives you 10. Well, I'm going with US price, base price. Like there's a million version of the prices depending on your partner tier performance and things like that, or if you're in Canada. But what I meant to say is that there is no minimum for the add-on, and there is that $10 minimum for the standalone product. It's still like, it's not a $10 fee. You still get 10 licenses for that $10, but that's the difference. That's the only difference. And then the Alliance product is specifically named Office Protect Alliance. There were some questions about Autotask. We answered those. Some great suggestions about what to do outside of the list that were in the polls. So just to give you a sense, if you want to contact us, the main feedback email is feedback@office-protect.com. That goes to the whole product team. We see those, we watch those, like we love those emails. If there is any issue or you need any support with the product itself, like meaning it's not doing what you think it should be doing, or you're having trouble logging in or whatever it is, support@office-protect.com. We put our our direct work emails here on the left. Good reason for that. We love to hear from our users. It's never an imposition. Like if you have something to tell us, please do tell us, positive or negative. We'll be very happy to hear from anybody. I think the next slide has do we have the sales contact? So Deanna, I don't know why you're not on the slide I just passed. What's the best way? Oh, there it is. Okay.
There we go.
Best way to reach you here?
Yep. Email.
I think the other thing is if you have any questions about Office Protect, do talk to your account representative. If you have one, you can always contact partners at sherweb.com also for general questions. But since you're here and you have all of our contacts, like come directly to us. It's fine. We'll make sure that if there's anything that has to go through your account representative, we'll give it to your account representative to give it to you. Don't worry about it. We'll try our best not to make it complicated. Like that's the main thing. That's it for us today. We will have our next one at the beginning of the fall. So what are we? End of June. So yeah, end of September, something like that. As you can see, in the last few months, we've released many new features that are client facing. We're very happy about that. There is no reason to expect that to change. We have a number of people that have asked to use the ConnectWise connector. Very, very happy about that. If you do ask and it takes just a minute to get back to you, don't feel bad like we're dealing with the demand. But obviously for us, the next step is just to make it available to everybody directly on the website. So that's coming very shortly, and you won't have to ask us anything. Yeah, that's it. So thanks, Camille. Thanks, Deanna. Thanks everybody that's here today, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.